If I were to ask you, what is the most popular vacation spot located in the state of Utah during the summertime, what would you say? For most, they would say maybe hiking in the mountains with their family. For others, they'd say spending time in amusement parks or at water parks. But for thousands to millions of Americans, they'd say the reservoir located in Lake Powell. Why is that? Lake Powell hosts annually up to 2 to 3 million people each and every year. People from all over the United States come to spend time on this lake. They rent houseboats for weeks on end. They rent recreational boats to spend time skiing, wakeboarding, and tubing. They can also spend time off the shore or off the water, on shore, hiking trails, climbing through canyons, and doing anything their hearts desire. But as of right now, Lake Powell faces its biggest controversy. In the last 14 years, it has experienced its driest years. And due to the driest years, the water level located in Lake Powell is at an all-time low. And with the lowest water levels during these years, 40 million people are affected by it. If this lake continues to drop lower, the water that these people will receive will be reduced, and they will receive less and less as this lake drops down. But what would happen to Lake Powell if it dries up? First of all, the biggest controversy and the biggest problem it faces is with Lake Mead, a nearby lake that receives water from Lake Powell. What would happen to Lake Mead if Lake Powell dried up? It would not be able to survive a severe and prolonged drought. And with Lake Powell and Lake Mead gone, thousands of people located near these lakes would lose their house and be forced to leave this area. As well, people in northern Arizona would be forced out of their jobs, and over $400 million of recreational revenue would be lost. As well, the federal government would lose up to $70 to $90 million due to the closure of the dam located in Lake Powell. Without water running through it, there's no power generated. And without power generated, nobody can receive this power to generate the lights and electricity in their homes. But for the people located in the county of Page, they have bigger problems. Their property prices would plummet, and they would be forced from their homes and be forced to locate somewhere else. But the federal government has thought about different solutions to this big controversy. The first one is to drain all of Lake Powell into Lake Mead, thus allowing a natural flow from the Glen Canyon River into the Grand Canyon. And as this water flows into Lake Mead, it will fill up this reservoir, which then allows families and people who live near this lake to maintain their water. But for others who would like to see Lake Powell continue, many people have talked about going to nearby farms, asking farmers and paying farmers to give about a third or half of the water they use for their crops. And they would build pipes from these farms and dump this water into the lake, thus maintaining the level it's at right now and hoping that the level will increase. And lastly, if they can't convince farmers and they can't pay them, their last option would be to leave the river or leave the lake as it is. For 14 years they've talked about a change in climate. They've been waiting for a heavier winter, which allows more water to flow in every time the snow melts. If this can happen and the climate will change, the lake will be restored. So whether you'd like to see Lake Powell stay, whether you'd like to see it drained to help thousands, or whether you'd like to sit there and hope for a changing climate, the decision is up to you. You decide. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question now. So in the long run, if they drain Lake Powell into Lake Mead, eventually over time, and then use that resource there, then there's no longer a resource there anymore. I mean, Lake Mead's full at that time, but then you still have the evaporation in that, and where does it get? You won't get any more water, so how will that solve the problem or help the people down there with what they're hoping to achieve by draining it?
So what they're hoping to achieve is that if they get the water from Lake Powell and fill Lake Mead, that'll be enough to produce water for everyone who lives down there. And when they do that, they'll take out the dam, which blocks that water off from flowing naturally. So if they have the water flowing naturally into the Grand Canyon, plus Lake Mead, it will restore a natural balance of flowing water to the houses located nearby.
Would they be able to keep enough water in Lake Mead to sustain the water usage that they need down there, or with the people down there, or where the water goes to?
As of right now, the possibilities of maintaining Lake Mead are greater if they drain Lake Powell than if they keep both of the lakes running as of right now.
Okay.